Nancy, from doing harm. Harm against other people and harm against yourself.
Wait.
I bind you, Nancy, from doing harm. Harm against other people and harm against yourself.
Wait.
I bind you, Nancy, from doing harm. Harm against other people and harm against yourself. I bind you, Nancy.
Hi guys. So I was having a discussion with Essence of the Moon and Bobby during a live. I believe it was last week or over the weekend. I can't remember which. About reflective magic. And so I had said that when I had this poppet, there was something I was going to do with this poppet for Witch's Blacklit, but I'm kind of going to use it as a mock-up for now. So I purchased this box at the Dollar Tree. I believe it was $3. I don't remember. I bought it last December. But when it comes to reflective magic, there's a whole different array of things that you can do with reflective magic. You can use it for more light work type of situation as well as baneful. Now, when you're using reflective magic, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do it. Now, to me, since glass is reflective, I can sit on my balcony out here and watch my window and see who's coming and going, just looking at my window or patio entrance. So to me, glass is reflective. I would just put a cloth over it. You could put a mirror on top, all, facing down, and put your candle on top. Me personally, I just put a black cloth over it, depending on what my use for it would be. Currently, I keep all my, since I'm having to simplify my practice right now, what I've been doing with this box is keeping like some of my witchy supplies in here. But anyway, when it comes to reflective magic, yes, this would be good for, say, reflecting bad magic or bad intentions onto a person. This can be used for return to sender magic as well as self-reflection magic. So maybe a person in your life needs some time for self-reflection. So this isn't necessarily baneful. It could be baneful if if you're wanting to reflect the negativity or the whatever spell, depending on the type of spell that someone's doing on you, you can reflect that back onto them. So if someone's doing something particularly nasty, sorry, I didn't repaint my nails, guys. So, again, with self-reflection magic, this can be used, say, for example, you are having a particular behavior or situation while you're doing shadow work, or behavior or situation that you're wanting to fix within your own self. You can put your name, a picture of yourself, or make a poppet with your own hair. That's totally up to you, how you work on that. And whatever type of reflection magic you're doing, you're going to put it in the box. You can, if you choose, put a mirror on top facing down and do your candle. But be careful if you're using this type of box, because again, it's glass and it can't take a lot of weight. So I would recommend the mini tea lights for something like that. Now, you can make a poppet, picture, name, whatever. Place whatever types of herbs that you wish to self-reflect on, that maybe you're needing to fix a particular behavior concerning yourself, and place it in the box or a poppet. This is just how I would choose to do this. And then you would take a string, and again, this is also according to the color magic. You would wrap the poppet in the string, and then you would take the string. Granted, I'm using this for something else, but this is just like a mock-up again. And then you would put it, back in the day when people used to tie string on their finger so they didn't forget anything. And you would take the string and put it on your wrist, depending on, right brings in, left, depending on your practice, left or right hand. So that way, when you see yourself doing this negative behavior that you're trying to fix, now granted, this is only maybe for simple things like, I don't know, um, negative thoughts about yourself or putting yourself down, that type of thing. This is something that you want to fix, right? You would have your corresponding color string depending on your practice, because I know as I've been working with Santa Muerte, color magic is a bit different within that whole that practice, the culture. Um, whatever negative, those types of negative behaviors. When it comes to the more serious things, please see a doctor, and please, um, if you're prescribed any type of medication for any type of maybe some mental health issues that you're seeing, don't stop doing that, please. Don't stop taking your medication. I know that there's a lot of people within the witchy community who leave witchy communities and then they start medicine shaming or medication shaming people who are taking their mental health drugs. So don't do that. Don't stop taking your meds, please. Whatever your doctor says, deal with your doctor, not with somebody who. Anyway, so this way you would, when you see the string or whatever, you would remember what that's for, and then you would remember to stop and reflect on the negative behavior that you're trying to fix within yourself. You could also take the same color string and wind a poppet with it and do a type of binding. And binding is restrictive. It's neither baneful nor light worker type of magic. It can be baneful, but that's totally up to you and your purpose. Again, corresponding magic. So if you're having someone who's just giving you a hard time at work, and maybe black ribbon. Another thing though too is maybe you're working to want to sort of, another thing with reflective magic is maybe you need to align certain chakras or to help you speak your truth more effectively, that type of thing. But again, when you're wanting to restrict a behavior of someone and you want them to take some time to maybe reflect on their behavior and restrict them from doing the behavior, would possibly be a really good idea. You could also put a picture of the person in there, their name, their date of birth, a personal item, as long as you, of course, bind it. That could be something that you could, yeah, I know my hair's a mess today. Something that you could really reflect on and think about doing. Is it's kind of both, a more modern take as well as traditional. So, and there are other things that you can do with reflective magic for amplifying spell work. Now, that would be where you'd use plane mirrors. Another thing that you could do is with this is truth spells, where you're wanting someone to start, or you're wanting a situation to become to light. What's done in the dark always comes into the light. Well, of course, then you would use maybe blue color. Put in whatever herbs. I personally would recommend, if you're doing truth work, lapis lazuli crystals in there with that. That's just my take on it, as well as with your poppet. Maybe if you have a decent size lapis, and I showed you guys, and I'll put the link in the description on how to make these types of poppets, because these are a little bit better, because for people that can't sew, and then you can still insert things. So maybe put a little bit of lapis in there up towards the throat area or in the head of the puppet. It's not a hard thing, to do. To, of course, whether the male or female, don't forget that. So that could be possibly another thing that you could do with a puppet. You could also wind puppets with, maybe you're having issues with maybe your chakras. This would be another good use for puppet, because it's not just what you're doing to others. It can be also used for self-healing, along with your shadow work, some behaviors that you want to maybe fix within yourself. So that covers the spell work portion, because I thought I'm going to do a 2-for-1. Another thing that I want to talk about, and this is more for maybe someone who's new to the practice or maybe didn't come across these books. One of them, the rabbit got loose on me one night, and yeah. But when it comes to herbs, and this is a Llewellyn book. It's old. I bought it used, so it's seen its fair share of life. These are just like reference books. It's not necessarily something that you need to read from cover to cover, and these, of course, are older books. Now, the Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. I thought this book was in storage, and there was a box in my closet, and I forgot to go through it. So I did get some of my books. So yeah, the Encyclopedia, and this is a Scott Cunningham book. Although some people, I notice on the other app, the T app, that really have a problem with Llewellyn and Scott Cunningham. But then again, that app is all about gatekeeping within that particular pagan community, because I've gotten reamed for these types of books. And Ravenwolf, she's another one that they hate over there. But this is a good reference book for whatever type of herbs that you may want to use in certain type of magic. Oh, and another thing that I'm forgetting really quick, that I just realized because I didn't write a script, is another thing that you can do. I have a tarot deck that's specifically for spell work. If you can find like a cheap Rider Waite anywhere, but you have a deck that's specifically designed for spell work, and you know the meaning of tarot. So maybe another thing that you could do is place the corresponding tarot card in there, or maybe kind of bind it to the poppet or place it on top. That's another thing, though, also that you could do when it comes to your spell work. And of course, that's where this book would come in when it comes to herbs and correspondences and all of that type of thing, because it is, a lot of it is covered in the book. The only thing that I kind of have an issue with is some of the plants. They're not in color. But, you can go to the back of the book and see what type of herbs. Because within spellcraft, of course, one herb can have a whole bunch of different meanings. But depending on what's available to you and what you can purchase. Another book, and I don't think this is Llewellyn. But I've had this book also. I bought it used at a bookshop, and I've had it for a really long time. Is A Year of Ritual. I don't think this is a Llewellyn book, but this covers Sabbats, Estabats for solitaries and covens. So this is another really good book. I also have a Sacred Space book for sacred spaces, and it's not here. I may, and I come across that book, but again, I did say that I was going to start doing like a book a week, but I figured I'm going to start with books that I personally use, for reference. And I'm sorry, the the dog, the dog, this dog, it's like having a toddler. So there's not really a lot of pictures in the book, but it does cover different Sabbats and Estabats and such. This is really good. And this is an older book. So that would be another good book. And of course, I have Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft. And this book was gifted to me. This is another book that I use for references. I just go to the back of the book and see the page and look at different things that I may want to look up. And this covers a lot to do with history of witchcraft and different types of aspects of witchcraft, more for a newer practitioner. It does have some examples of different things. I also do have some pagan crafting books, but I think those are in storage. This does, have, the different meanings, things for your altar, affirmations, all that type of thing. So this would be really good for a beginner witch. Now this is the one that the rabbit got a hold of. Buckland's Book of Spirit Communication. And I bought. And I haven't really looked at it much yet, because I haven't had a need for that yet. So this is something, again, I purchased as a reference for different things. I didn't buy it to read it from cover to cover. I needed, even though that spirits and things are kind of in my practice. So I also bought this book as another thing that I can just grab for reference. So I prefer the older books. I try to get books that cover different topics from different authors. Sorry about that. So that I kind of have more of a different outtake of a subject or a situation. There's also some, like the Granny Witch herbal books that I have, that I've not read yet, that you can also implement for whatever your purpose is. Me personally, herbs that I can go to a grocery store or Dollar Tree and get, the classism with using Dollar Tree products for spellcraft, how dare I? Especially when you're a witch on a budget. And I fully intend on getting that book too. But, and utilizing and getting what's around you. Some of us in urban areas, that's something we kind of struggle with. Just saying. But, again, these are just different thoughts and such that I have when it comes to books and spell work. Another thing, though, too, and I'm thinking about it, is getting some Mod Podge and putting on here and maybe putting some glitter. That's another thing you could do. Put some glitter in there. Because I didn't write a script. So anyway, guys, that's just my thoughts on the matter. Peace, love, and light. Please, like, comment, and subscribe. But even if you just sit and watch the video, because I focus more on how many people watch the video. I mean, no pressure. Just please. But anyway, guys, again, peace, love, and light, and we'll see you in the next video.